Now, brace yourself, because I've been told to embark upon my own attempt at one of Jacob's illustrious monologues, or, as he calls them, monologues. Now, I've spent all day practising various antiquated tongue twisters, everything from the Latin recitations of the Lord's Prayer to repetitions of the word Jacob's brought so eruditely to the green benches 12 years ago. Floxy-nocky nihifipilification. But to the big story of the day, made so much more relevant this evening by the extraordinary announcement from the UN Committee on Human Rights. Yes, they want the United Kingdom to never make Rwanda policy law. Indeed, they want the United Kingdom to repeal any laws pertaining to the Rwanda policy if they do become law. This in the context of the Channel crossing numbers. They're in for the first quarter of 2024. And the Prime Minister has another record to his name. Some 4,644 people have made the journey in 2024 that we know of. A record for the first 3 months of any calendar year. Now, I should add, this is just in the first 3 rather wintry and fairly rainy months of the year. Many would argue that we should expect much higher numbers as the year goes on and the weather becomes more clement. Of course, if we look at the previous trends, the numbers are invariably higher in the summer months. As viewers on television can see from this graph from Migrant Watch, last year, the biggest month was August, as was the year before. The fifth of the Prime Minister's 5 key pledges is, of course, stopping the boats. And he has repeatedly said that the numbers are down.
Well, the first time since the small boats crisis emerged, numbers are down. I just want to say that again. Yep. Numbers are down.
They're down because of all the things we're doing. The new deal I signed with Albania. We've returned almost 3,000 illegal migrants to Albania. And you know what? They've stopped coming.
I'm pleased that we've made progress. Last year, the numbers were down by a third. Never happened before. Shows that the plans are working.
Well, as the great Victorian statesman Benjamin Disraeli once said, there are lies, damned lies, and statistics. The numbers may well have been down last year, but of course this all depends on your time frame. The Prime Minister insists that a huge part of the solution lies in the deterrence effect of the Rwanda plan. But there are serious questions about this. GBNews Home and Securities editor Mark White broke a story earlier this year suggesting that the Rwanda plan had become something of a joke, a laughingstock amongst migrants attempting to cross the Channel. And these new record-breaking numbers do appear to show that the threat of the Rwanda plan, as things stand, hasn't acted as a deterrent. This being said, the proposal itself has spent the last 2 years being shredded by the courts. It's been a long time since each passenger on board the original deportation flight was one by one picked off by the European Court of Human Rights and their liberal use of what's known as Section 39 orders. It isn't only the ECHR in Strasbourg, or indeed our own courts here at home holding things up, however. Last week, the House of Lords doubled down on many of its stifling amendments to the Safety of Rwanda Bill, once again delaying the passage of the bill, with the Commons now not set to ping back the pong until after recess. It seems that the Prime Minister studiously avoided the advice of the usual host of this programme last week.
I would like the Chief Whip to change Commons business so that we send these proposals back to the House of Lords tomorrow and that we sit if necessary through Easter until the House of Lords backs down. It might teach the bishops a lesson if they have to come and vote against the government on Good Friday. It would be suitably penitential for them.
Sadly, that was not to be. And so we're faced with more delay and more boats. Perhaps it's little wonder that with this drawn-out process, the Rwanda government itself has publicly expressed doubts. The Prime Minister's work is very much ahead of him. The migrant crisis remains an election-defining issue, particularly for red wall seats and 2019 Conservative voters. And with the Conservatives facing an electoral oblivion, stopping the boats is a necessary, albeit perhaps not sufficient action to turn the tide. Now, as the eminent psephologist Professor Sir John Curtis now says, the Labour Party has a 99% chance of winning the next election. The Tories' 1% chance might just hinge on getting the flights off the ground before Rishi Sunak goes head-to-head with Sir Keir Starmer. As ever, let me know your thoughts on all of the above. Mailmog@gbnews.com.